Hey man, stay safe world. You already know what's going on, man. We got tragic news coming out of North Philadelphia in the neighborhood of Olney, where Gillie the kid's son, YNG Cheese, but formerly known as Devin Spady, was shot in the back and succumbed to his injuries, man. It's a tragic scenario and something that no parent ever wants to hear, you know, burying their kid before them or anything like that. Really no rap fan or Philadelphia rap fan really wants to hear this type of news either, because it was a, you know, out of the trenches story that unfortunately ended up with a YNG Cheese unfortunately passing away last night, man. It's a sad scenario. We got to get into everything that went down right now, but before we do, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna run on this video, man. Make sure y'all check out the merch, link in the description at staysafeworld.com, man. Let's get into this tragic news. Let's get it.
Police are investigating a deadly triple shooting in the Olney section of Philadelphia. Skyforce 10 hovered above West Nedrow Avenue and North Masher Street as officers combed the area for evidence. One of the victims ran off after being shot and was found at a house on Widener Street. Police say a 25-year-old man died at the hospital. 2 other men are stable. No arrests have been made.
In the North Philadelphia neighborhood of Olney on the 5800 block of Masher Street, officials said a shooting happened just before 8:30 p.m. last night on Thursday, which resulted in the 25-year-old Devin Spady getting shot in the back and dying, when 2 other men were hospitalized after someone opened fire on the trio when they were posted up in their Mercedes-Benz in the Olney neighborhood of Philadelphia in North Philly. The 25-year-old victim, later identified as Devin Spady, was shot once in the back. Police rushed him to Einstein Medical Center, where he died within minutes. Spady is Philadelphia rapper's son, aka podcast $1 million worth of game son, Gillie the kid. The 2 other men, a 28-year-old and a 31-year-old, suffered wounds that were both non-life-threatening and listed as stable. An active investigation is underway, though no weapons have been found and no arrests have been made. Yo, this is a tragic story, but something that is not too foreign in Philly, because Philly is one of the real, like, murder capitals of the US. A lot of people don't even realize that. I feel like people think of like the murder capital and they think of Chicago, places like that. I mean, the one thing about Philly that's different than Chicago is Philly, the population is drastically smaller than Chicago, and it be having just as many murders as Chicago, which is way worse because, you know, Chicago's a huge city, Philly's smaller, still a big city but smaller, and all this type of shootings happen. And that just shows that way more stuff basically goes out here than what happens in other cities, you know. It's one of the major murder capitals of the US, and it's just unfortunate that this is what went down, you know, because YNG Cheese definitely had a bright future. He had the cosign of his dad and his uncle, basically, that were going to carry him on. And he was, you know, like a known rapper throughout Philly, had a lot of like real energy about him that was positive. You know, definitely not like some of these other people that I report on, like Bloomberg G's and shit, that be really on that negative shit in the trenches, flashing guns in every video and stuff like that. So you would never expect that this would happen to the bull like this, man. Like this, like, yeah, everyone had some type of association with the streets. Obviously, you look at Gillie, you look at Wallow, and you know they're definitely from the streets, served lengthy prison sentences and stuff. But, you know, they since have turned their life around. So to see this type of thing happen is just hard. Like, no one could really grasp the feeling of what it takes when you get your firstborn child taken from you when you're a parent, you know. That is one of the craziest feelings that probably anyone could ever have in this world. And no one should really ever have to feel that. And it all boils down to, you know, yeah, this is North Philly, a war zone out there. But, you know, what these people basically meant for the city of Philadelphia is definitely something that is a lot more than words could describe, you know. Coming out of the trenches, out of these North Philly neighborhoods, coming up and basically making something out of themselves and getting $100 million from Barstools or whatever for their podcast, definitely had some eyes looking at them, and definitely people were jealous, you know. That probably played a main role, you know. Like, he could have been in the streets or something like that, but, you know, to get shot in the back when you're running, that's crazy, man. Like, they really, like, could have just been a scenario where he got hit up for something that was totally not even having to do with him. They could have just seen that he's flashing and flexing in the hood and felt jealous about that. You know, people really act in those type of ways. It could have been something like that, you know, because it's like, yeah, he's come up, and yeah, his whole family has come up like that, but that's really where they're from. They're from North Philly. So it's like, when people say you gotta go home, you gotta go away, it's like, where are they gonna go? North Philly is where they're from. That is their home. And they felt like they could come back to their community and be positive and have some type of positivity. But in the end, it's the community that takes them out. And that's the saddest thing about it, man. And this story is not unique in that North Philly, stuff like this is going to happen over and over and over again. Stuff like that probably is going to happen next week, the week after. You know, it's a common theme of what's going to happen in like the most dangerous neighborhood really in a murderous city. But at the same time, that shouldn't be normalized, especially someone that's on the come up like that and really just positive. But it's like, if people see that and see jealousy and like just want to take someone out, there's not much that you can really do to stop them, which is the sad part. But at the end of the day, there has to be some type of like rational thinking or something like that, we would hope. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see anything like that coming soon, or any peace, because, you know, people are hurting and people have mentally messed up mental illnesses, all types of things that stop them from really, you know, being positive members of society and just be straight up murking people, man. But it's sad. At the end of the day, though, hopefully Gillie and Wallow basically have some closure and are able to grieve in peace, because this is like one of the toughest situations that I've seen in a minute. And it's sad to see YNG Cheese basically go out like this when he had such a bright career ahead of him, man. But hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this situation, man. Real say shit. Y'all already know what's going on. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and join the notification gang. And make sure y'all tap in with the merch, link in the description at staysafeworld.com. Peace.